Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Cypress Wolf, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. So last episode, we did a showcase on FNAF Security Breach, and for this episode, we are going to continue on with the Dark Knight. So as you can see, we have Batman, Joker, and Two-Face, all the main characters from the movie. So in the past, I've done a Dark Knight Trilogy Batman minifigure before, but this one is definitely a nice upgrade from the original. It looks really fantastic. And this video is going to be sort of a mix between review and showcase. Okay, so showcase portion is going to be for Batman and Joker, and review is going to be for Two-Face, and I'll explain why as we go further on. So, as you guys know the drill, we're going to take these minifigures one at a time, do review them, explain my process, why we went this route, and then go from there. So, without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get the showcase on the road. To begin our showcase off, of course, we have Christian Bale's Batman. Now, this figure was super fun to do, as not only did it remind me of making my own custom Dark Knight Trilogy Batman, but it was also a chance to try out like some new stuff here and there. So a majority of the armor was done by Nate's minifigs, as I managed to pick up like one of these pieces during his sale on the Dark Knight Trilogy armor, and this looks super fantastic. They're fantastic. Like the way how it looks like everything from the cowl all the way down to the torso and arms looks super fantastic. They're fantastic. So the cowl piece, I'll take off later on. The cowl piece itself is super amazing. It's super amazing. Like this is like not only does it capture up with the movie reference, but it also is sized enough where you could put it on a minifigure head, instead of like Lego's Batman, for where you have to get one of those special Bruce Wayne heads with the white line across the forehead. I love how this looks and how this one actually fits on a figure. Now looking on with the rest of the armor, I don't know how well you could see it because of the paint, but he also perfectly put on the Dark Knight Trilogy symbol, as well as the detailing in the armor pieces and the padding on here. It looks really good. Now on the sides here, of course, there's we got the gauntlets, like the shoulder pads and all the way down to the gauntlets. I did add a little bit of molding clay like on the sides of the shoulder pads a little bit, just to fill in like the gap with the arm. And then with the gauntlets, I don't know how well you can see it, but unlike the guard pieces, pieces with the spikes on the side, not only did he make them small enough to fit on the figure, but if you look closely, there's actually a line in between to represent the suit's ability to fire them at enemies. He didn't have to go that route because it's so small, but the fact that he did makes this even more amazing. So I have to give credit to that. It looks really fantastic. Fantastic. And with the rest of the suit, the legs and the back of the armor were actually done by my own. So if we go ahead and remove the head, the cape was an extra piece that I had from one of my spare Batman figures, because I wanted to use this one way more than Lego's current design. But with the legs, the legs were the original Dark Knight figure, and I figured that I got from the Tumblr set that I wanted to add more to the suit. So I basically just traced out the areas that I wanted to put on, and then took one of my Dremel tools and sand in the pieces of the armor, and then filled in the gaps with molding clay. It doesn't look perfect, but I do like it because it adds more on to the whole armored suit design. And before I continue on, if we move up with the hand, you can see a gap in between the waist. I made sure to drill in enough to where if I wanted to, I could move all the way up. Like if I wanted to position him in the tumbler, I can move up. The paint doesn't chip off, and that way it can actually work. It looks really cool. As you can see, did some sanding on the side, and then on the back, Nate's didn't customize a back piece for the armor, which is totally fine. So I decided to add more sculpting onto it and tried to sculpt out the back armor piece complete with the belt. It does not look perfect. I will give that, but I do like the attempt. Because I like adding more onto the figures, especially with to get the full idea that it's a full suit. It's a full suit of armor. And to finish off this portion of the showcase, of course, here we have the cowl. Here we have the head without the cowl. As you can see, I used a Legolas head, the same head that I used for Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan, as the base for Christian Bale's facial expressions for the head. The black I painted on for the eyes because it looks like because it looks like in the movie he has like the grease paint raccoon eyes, and on the back, as you can see, the scratched up head. That's the original plan was I wanted to do the same thing that Nate's minifigs did with the Battison cowl, for where it's a two-piece removable. I tried to attempt that here, but unfortunately, the clay like fused to the head and fused to the head, so I couldn't remove it without damaging any pieces of it. So this overall became like sort of a one piece, but that's all right. That's all right because this expression still captures with the likeness of Batman, and I like how it came out in the end. In the end, so despite like the initial plan like not working out, this is still really cool. Next up on our list is Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, this is actually a character that I've thought about making for a really long time. Like in the past, I've done the Joker before, but mostly in the Arkham series because I really like the design of that. And I thought about doing like a Heath Ledger Joker, but at the time, at first, it was sort of like lacking motivation. Like I wasn't really motivated to do one. But then over time, it became a sort of a thing of like, how would I do that? And I do that because I already liked Lego's official, so it was just like, okay, how can I build off of that? So I decided to expand more on that and decided to tinker around with a little bit, and this sort of became the final result. So as I said before, the base body is like the official like Joker minifigure from the Tumblr set that I reviewed a while back. But this time, as you can see, he's now wearing like the suit jacket, and as well as the purple trench coat, the purple trench coat, which I'll talk about that one in a little bit. So the head, I know I said in the past I wasn't gonna paint up the head, but I decided to go ahead and paint it up to make sure like the white paint like stood out a little bit more. And usually with white on Lego, it doesn't work really well. But I kind of like it in this one because it sort of makes it look like that the makeup's like kind of smeared on almost. The hairpiece was definitely a nice addition that I liked. And I liked that. With Lego's hair, I do like that take, but I feel like it's outdated at this point, especially now that they've got a few new styles that I feel like match up more with Joker. So I decided to go ahead with this one, as I felt that like it was like the most accurate depiction of like Heath Ledger's Joker. So we go ahead and remove the hair. With the hair, we can go ahead and turn this around, and you can see like the face. Then the painting continues on to the back, and the back of the head with his creepy smile. I also did a little bit of detailing on the trench coat, which we'll talk about that in just a bit. In fact, let's go ahead. Like, one of the things that I wanted to do was make it removable. So if we go ahead and remove this, I decided to do a similar technique to how I did Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan. He's going to be mentioned a lot in this. I decided to do something similar with that. But how I did it was I broke it down in components. So I first did the suit jacket first to base it around the figure. I then went back with the trench coat piece to base that around that coat. I then glued both of the coats together, but made sure that there was enough room that the figure can move his arms, as well as be able to like remove the coat if he wanted to. So that way, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and take Lego's official arms that came in with the figure and apply those back onto the figure. Here, so we go ahead and do that. And as you can see, like the arms can fit perfectly on here, and that way it can retain for if I wanted to do like a scene. Excuse the brightness. If I wanted to do a scene with him like without the jacket, like in the interrogation scene, I can pull that off, and it still looks really great. And this came out fantastic. I love it. My only takeaway with it, with this figure, is probably the legs. So if we go ahead and brighten up a bit, you can see with the legs, I tried to continue on the pinstripe pattern on all sides of the legs, but if I knew that it was going to if it was going to come out looking like this, I probably would have just left the legs alone and just painted on the boots, But apart from that, it's still good. And besides, like, since the majority of the figure is like covered up with the trench coat, it does sort of like cover up those mistakes. So it's not something that I'm super concerned about. But despite those flaws, I really like this Joker. This is probably easily like one of my favorite Joker minifigures that I've made. And even though it hasn't been that very many figures, I still love this. This still came out really nice. It can still pull off Lego's official look while having like the same kind of look and the same appearance that he has in the movie. And overall, it was just really fun to make. Next up on our list is Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face. Now, this portion is going to be the review portion of the video, as we are taking a look at Phoenix Customs 50/50 minifigure. So this figure I got a couple months ago when they were doing sort of a sale a sale on their website of getting rid of like some extra minifigures, whether they be like some old figures, test sample figures, and extra parts. And on one of the items was the Two-Face minifigure. I had thought about like making a Two-Face minifigure figure to match up with the movie, but I wasn't sure how to do it. I even had gotten an old school, like classic Two-Face minifigure head assorted to use as a base template, but I wasn't sure like how I wanted to do it. But when I was on their website, I saw that they were giving off, and then like when they were selling off some figures, I saw that this one was at a discount even with some paint that was chipped up that could easily have been fixed. So I decided to go ahead and purchase one of these guys, and it finally came in, and it looks really, really amazing. So to get like a further look into the figure, as we could see, like I love how this looks. There's like, for instance, like with the headpiece, the head looks really, really cool. Really cool. I love how it splits off between like Aaron's facial expression for like Harvey Dent, and then like on the other side, the burnt sort of expression for Two-Face. It's not heavily scarred as it is in the movie, but I honestly like it. And I like it how it is because I actually imagined that this would actually be something that Lego would do. Like if they had done a proper like Two-Face figure for like a Dark Knight Trilogy set, and he said I can imagine that this is what it would look like. Like as we can see, like with the eyes, as we can see like the eyes, it's sort of like inverted almost. Notice that we could see like the fully exposed eyeball, and like the burnt up mask, the burnt up mouth to where we can see the teeth. And the teeth looks really, really cool. And then we continue on over here. We can see like a little bit of burn marks on the top here as the pattern like continues all the way down. You can kind of see some paint on the neck as this was sort of the part for where like there was no paint on the neck. And I decided to go ahead and take care of that with like a simple paint job. A simple paint job. Paint job came out really, really good. Really, really good. And I do like of how like over here on the side, like we can see sort of like the hair like matches up pretty well with like Harvey Dent's look. And overall it looked really, really nice. And I do like it. So moving on to the rest of the figure, we can see like with the torso, this nice pad printed torso on the front. And over here it looks really, really cool. I like the way how it came out, and I love that it continues on to the waist piece, which is something that like very few figures do when it comes to suit pieces. They usually just end on the torso, but it carries on over with the iconic Two-Face look. How on one side it's like perfectly fine, but on the other side it's a bit more burnt up, and we can see like the red marks to represent like the scarred pieces. This chipped up white paint here. I don't know if this is actually part of the figure or not. I just kept it as it was because it matched up. Because again, it matches up more of like the ruined sort of look that Two-Face got. And of course, he's got some printing on this side of the arm. And the arm looks really, really cool. The printing continues on to the back, and even continues on to the back waist piece. It doesn't continue on to the sides as there's very little room, but I do like it. It looks really, really nice. Very nice. The legs are like some like basic gray legs, which is okay. It looks really, really cool. It matches up as well with the suit. And then of course, like for accessories, he's got this nice revolver piece, nice custom revolver piece. It looks really, really cool. And of course, he's not Two-Face without his iconic scratched up quarter. Sorry for the extreme brightness, but if we see a better look at that quarter, it looks really, really nice. Very nice. I don't know if this is like official Lego, an official Lego piece or not, and if it isn't either way, it looks really, really nice. Very nice. I love it either way, and overall, this looks really, really fantastic. So I could have, and now overall, I could have like gone back in and added up the painting up details here and there, but I didn't want to ruin this figure, because even without like the added like painted up pieces here and there, this looks really amazing, really amazing. Amazing. It's not it's not like fully like a masterpiece compared to like some of the other projects that Phoenix Customs has done. But even then, this still looks really, really cool. It's an awesome interpretation of Two-Face, and overall, just really phenomenal. And now for a bonus parts to wrap up the showcase. Okay, so here we have a quick custom on Bruce Wayne. So when I got the head that I needed for the Batman, I decided to get a second head to do like a Bruce Wayne head, and this looks really, really cool. I feel like this matches up pretty well with Christian Bale's likeness, and complete with the hairpiece. It looks really, really cool. The torso is, however, temporary, as this is the same one that I used for Rob Pattinson Bruce Wayne. So I am gonna get another one in the future, but for now, this is gonna be sort of like the overall Bruce Wayne minifigure. Okay, that is going to do it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, this turned out to be a really, really fun showcase. I love how both Batman and Joker came out. The Two-Face figure looks phenomenal. And overall, this was really, really awesome to make. Like, I did have like ideas to build on more characters, but I wasn't sure like how to proceed through each of them. I'm hoping I'll figure something out one day in the future, but for now, this is going to be the overall Dark Knight showcase. Now, for the next episode of LEGO Arts, we are going to be reviewing the latest version on the Battison minifigure. I can't wait to record that episode, and it should be coming out very, very soon. And then after that, I'm gonna go back to working on some other projects with God of War Ragnarok. Hopefully, I'll be able to get the parts for like Boba Fett, and a couple of other characters. No Way Home Part 1 is almost done. I'm finishing customizing one particular character, and then we'll be ready to go on that one. Also, if the audio on this turns out complete crap, I do apologize for that. I am considering expanding on a new way to record showcases, but that is going to be something else for the future. So if you want to keep up with updates from like Nate's minifigs, and Phoenix Customs, I'll include links to their Instagram pages in the description below. Go get them a like, show them supports because they do phenomenal work. And overall, that is going to be it. So, if you guys would like to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. If you have helps us, well, last ways, like a products, I'm mad they had so fun. So, anywho, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below what you think, share your friends, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitch, and here's how the road. Ow! Thank you guys for listening next time. What do you guys, Moonrises?